Let's talk about cravings. I think we've all dealt with or are currently dealing with cravings when transitioning to a healthier diet. So, I came up with 3 tips I'm going to discuss with you guys on how to kind of eliminate some of these cravings or put yourself in a better position to deal with these cravings. All right. Now, look, we've all been I shouldn't say we all, that's kind of an absolute statement. But for those that are transitioning to a raw diet, most likely you've been eating cooked food and even processed food and even meats probably for decades. Right. So, like mentally, it's already embedded. You're conditioned to look at food and look at food from a perspective of cooked meals and processed foods and meats. Now, trying to transition off of that can be difficult. Cravings are tough. I know they were tough for me, right? But with these 3 tips, I think it will help you. I shouldn't say I think, I know they will help you because they've definitely helped me in my transition to a majority raw diet. All right. So the first one is your environment. Like you have to ensure that the foods that you see, that you're aware of, that you have within arm's reach are the foods that you want to implement into your diet. That means like when you walk into your kitchen, you need to see colors. You need to see fruits, raw fruits that are just there for you and are available to you at all times. If you go into your kitchen and you see breads or you see chips or you see boxes of pasta or you go into your pantry and there's fruit snacks and cereal and all those different things, like it's going to be very difficult for you to deal with the cravings, especially if you're in the midst of transitioning to a more raw diet, right? So, making sure your environment is set up for you to be the best that you can be, right? And that's almost anything in life. Like, you want to surround yourself with what you want to become. Right. So if, like I said, you need to walk into your kitchen and you want to have all the options of everything that you could possibly want. That is going to help you with the cravings. Because look, your mind is a beast. At the end of the day, like your mind is a blessing and a curse. And when you're transitioning and doing something different, your mind mixed with your ego are going to work against you to try and get you to go to what's comfortable, and making the transition is not comfortable. You have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. And putting like fixing your environment and putting these things in place are going to help you tremendously. All right? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, when you go grocery shopping, make sure you're not going to the grocery store hungry. Like, go to the grocery store on a full stomach because if you go to the grocery store and you're hungry, you're going to make bad decisions. Your hunger is going to take over and you're going to go once again to what is comfortable. And understand that, like, what we've been taught and conditioned to think as full is not full. we we overeat. We've been overeating for years upon years, decades upon decades. And that feeling, especially when you're hungry and you haven't eaten anything, is going to take over when you're in a grocery store. You're going to make bad decisions. And that in essence is also going to hurt the number 1 tip by ruining your environment because you're going to come home from the grocery store and you're going to have a bunch of shit that you know you're not supposed to be eating. All right. So tip number 2, do not go to the grocery store hungry. Make sure you eat, you're full, you feel good. Go to the grocery store, you'll make better conscious decisions, guaranteed. All right? Now number 3, this is big. This has been huge for me. Food planning. Food planning, food planning, food planning. Know what you're going to eat before the day even starts. Because when you don't know what you're going to eat, you're going to once again default and fall back on what's been comfortable, right? Make sure that you're going to the grocery store on a regular basis. Now, I know that differs from everybody and their routine and things of that nature and work and stuff like that and budgetary restrictions and whatnot. But like when you're eating fresh foods, raw foods, you're going to have to go more often because foods go bad. And that's what food is. When food doesn't go bad, guess what? It's not real food. So understand that you're probably going to have to go to the grocery store either once a week or sometimes multiple times a week. So you have the availability of food so you can plan. If you can't plan, you're going to fall back on what? Foods that you've been comfortable with because you're hungry. But if you know ahead of time, and this has been huge for me because I know my go-tos and I make sure I have them. And if I don't have them, I have replacements. So I know, okay, today I know when I break my fast at noon, I'm going to eat 8 bananas. So I'll go, I eat my 8 bananas. And I know that a couple hours after that, I'm going to have a bowl of strawberries and some oranges, right? And then I'm going to have my leafy greens a little bit after that. And then I'm probably going to have one more fruit meal for dinner, right? If I decide to do four, sometimes it's three, depending on, how much fruit I have available. But I plan it. And when I do plan it, I'm very successful. In the past, when I did not plan it and I did that and I was just going off of a whim, it's been more difficult because then you go for something or you have a taste for something and it's not there. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to fall back on an alternative. And those alternatives are usually bad decisions, especially if you're outside of your home, because then you're at the mercy of what's around you in your environment outside, and that is something you can't control, right? So 3 easy tips. Number one, like I said, your environment. Make sure what you see, what you're aware of, what is within arm's reach is good, wholesome, raw foods. Number two, make sure that you are not going to the grocery store hungry. You will make bad decisions. And number three, make sure you're planning your food. If you plan your meals, you will be highly successful, much more successful. You won't have to fall back into alternative items that you feel comfortable with that ultimately, have put you in the position you are today. So I hope those 3 tips help. If you have any other tips, please leave them in the comment section. Any questions about any of these things, please reach out at any time. And if this resonates with you, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Peace and love, everybody. I'm out of here. Have a good one.